Denise Harris, and today I'm presenting my chapter which has been published, There is More to a Person Than Motor Neurone Disease. When a person is living with motor neurone disease, their temporality comes to the forefront. The lived-through past takes on new meaning in the present, and the future is anticipated with angst. In contrast to many M&D studies, where the focus is on the person in the present, and the impact of M&D on the body, this published chapter explores a research journey and developed papers to propose a person-centered care model in M&D, focusing on individuality, which includes three major elements: 1. Presuppositions, 2. Acceptance, and 3. Temporality. Presuppositions. Professionals must be aware of their presuppositions, which are pre-understanding and prejudices, to be open to the meaning of new perspectives. According to Gadama, prejudice has to be provoked to be realised. Fleming et al. 2003 suggests that one approach to provoke presuppositions is to converse with a professional colleague. The process helps professionals enter the hermeneutic circle of understanding and remain orientated to being open to the opinion of the other, bearing in mind that performance is never fully achieved because it is constantly evolving. Gadama 1975 recommends not trying to put oneself in the shoes of another person, because to do so is to ignore one's presuppositions and historical awareness. It is better to collaborate with someone to reach a shared understanding, otherwise termed as having a hermeneutic difference. The recommendation is to use this approach when understanding what is essential to a person with M&D and accepting that understanding will change through time. Professionals must accept what shows itself rather than applying theories or their own professional ideas of what constitutes a person's needs. Professionals must accept that a person may wish to discuss loss, uncertainty, and other concerns. Such concerns about life and death are existential concerns, recognised and accepted in cancer care. Existential concerns are not recognised and accepted in M&D care until a person is referred to palliative care. The M&D Association 2016 guidance states that professionals caring for people with M&D are at risk of compassion fatigue, defined as emotional, physical and spiritual exhaustion, because of witnessing and absorbing the problems of others. Professionals need to accept that a person may not want the illness trajectory of M&D, and they have the freedom to make choices to refuse treatments on how and where to die. Professionals must understand, interpret a person in a wider temporal frame and beyond the context of their illness context. As Heidegger suggests, to ignore a person's past and future is subordinating that person to the present. Dewing 2008 calls for a reassessment of person-centered care nursing frameworks to take account of body and time, corporeality and temporality, if claiming allegiance with personhood. Corporeality and temporality are particularly important for a person as they first notice that something untoward is happening to their body. In the present, a person does not acknowledge their body because they mostly go about their daily lives and take their body for granted. They might be more likely to pay attention to their body when something untoward happens and it is not functioning as before. This occurrence may be a one-off, or it may be something more sinister. Whatever it is, it causes an episode of anxiety. People contact their deeper modes of temporality because of the present and the anticipated future. They reinterpret and define their past. Asking a person to tell their story about how M&D has affected all aspects of their existence through temporal time brings forward individual experiences. It provides a focus for person-centered care in M&D. In this next section of presentation, I'm going to talk about the temporal model of care. A person with M&D whose cognition is not affected is fully aware of their past. The memories cannot be removed, but the ability to communicate them can. The proposed model recognises that a person with M&D has a unique history, culture and practice. The care process involves professionals enabling the person to talk about their lived-through past. The expected outcome: a person with M&D will define their identities and find meaning in life as lived. It may help a person to talk about their regrets. A person with M&D may experience the present in crisis because life with M&D has no meaning. Frankl 1962 suggests that suffering people cannot move forward into the future. The proposed model respects a person as a self-interpreting being, existing in a social and cultural world with others, including family, friends, colleagues, carers, and the wider community. The care process involves listening to what is important for a person, and the expected outcomes: a person with M&D will be determining their being as creating feelings of recognition, respect, and trust. A person with M&D may wish to talk about the anticipated future and how to exert choice over the timing of death and achieve clarity over the legality of these options. The proposed model responds to a person's freedom and right to make choices. The care process should involve listening to their loss of a once projected future, their concerns for a future being unable to communicate, move and breathe at end of life, and their concerns for others. Their needs, priorities and preferences are understood and documented in an advance directive. The expected outcome: a person with M&D will be facing death while still being in control. Thank you for listening to my presentation. Here are my references.
And sometimes people are ahead of me. Thank you so much, Denise. I don't know if you were able to listen in earlier today, but Helen and Sarah, our occupational therapists, talked about some of the same things, about looking at what is important to the person living with ALS-MND. Are there any questions from the audience here? Anything online? Okay, so I'll start. Give everyone time to think about it. So, you know, I think this is a great idea because, you know, especially people when they're first starting to work with someone. So is this something maybe new therapists, when they're starting to work in a multidisciplinary clinic, or maybe even in their training, should be getting? Could you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I do believe that would be a really good idea to introduce this model very early in the stage of learning for any disciplines, to be honest. It's quite a simple model in that it's understanding the person in this temporal frame, enabling the clinician, the therapist, whoever, to get to know the person, to have that documented on file, which is very relevant for when we're looking at their projected future. And so the professionals can get to know the person in more detail, get to know what they would want for their future, for their families, and getting all this documented very early on in the process in terms of advanced care planning. Then that can be put away and the person can be enabled then to live a quality of life.
Absolutely. Are there any other questions, or we have a very quiet audience here today? All right, then I'm going to let you go, and then if anyone has any questions, they can follow up with her later. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.